Hey guys, MCU Collector here with another figure review, and next up in the Hasbro Marvel Legends series, Spider-Man Wave 14, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse Stilt-Man Build-A-Figure Wave. This is the Prowler, Aaron Davis, Miles Morales' uncle himself, one of the villains from the Into the Spider-Verse movie, and I'm very excited to get these figures, even though these figures are 2 years too damn late, because 2 years ago, because I have the receipt, I bought this in December of 2018, and had a bag of a couple of these figures that I just never did anything with. So now we actually have an official Marvel Legends version that is just so much better than this basic figure. But there is the only side comparison, because I'm not going to be opening this. I don't know what I'm going to do with that yet. But there we go. And he is one of the villains, because one of the other villains that we did get from that movie was the Scorpion. So this one is a different, much different take on Scorpion than we see traditionally in the comics. So it is interesting. So I'm glad that we are getting these Legends figures, because now I actually have additional characters from that movie. Even though it's not really a Legends, it's still going to work. I just don't know how I'm going to fit it all in my display. But I'm glad I held on to this for 2 years. I just basically forgot about it and didn't know what I was going to do. So now I actually have a little bit of use with it. But here we have the Prowler. We get the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse logo there. We get that spray painted spider logo there for Miles Morales. The side artwork of Prowler looks amazing. We get that actual like art style, from animation style from the movie. You can see like the dots and stuff in the art, so it's really awesome the way it came out. The packaging on the back just really stands out. We get that hot pink there, the yellow writing, just the artwork. It's just everything about it is just amazing looking. The bio for Prowler reads, equipped with an armored suit and gadget-filled wrist gauntlets, Prowler pursues his enemies under the cover of darkness. Bam, there we go. Let's get it out of the package. And before I forget, I want to give a shout out to toysnowman.com. I ordered these figures from them. They posted on Instagram that they had them in stock, so I went to their website right away, put in my order, and they shipped out the very next day. They are based in Canada, and Canada has been getting the Marvel Legends figures first for quite some time, so they are always on fire with the figures. So toysnowman.com, link in the video description below. I believe they're sold out on some of these right now, but they do have a second batch that's going to be coming, so get those pre-orders in now. Okay, and there is the Prowler figure out of the package, and there's some really nice things going on with this thing. And then we do get some reused parts from some standard comic figures. Not a big deal, really. Just thought I would point that out. One interesting thing is that this is the only figure in the wave that does not come with extra hands. All the other figures have at least one set of extra hands. Prowler comes with nothing. He actually has no accessories to him at all, unless you're counting his cape, which should not be counted. There's no accessories if you're thinking the briefcase. That does go to Stilt-Man, so we'll throw that off to the side over there. He does come with an extra hand for Stilt-Man, and he comes with the right arm for Stilt-Man, and we'll throw that over there. In the last video, I had talked about the stand. This stand will not work for Marvel Legends figures because these pegs are too big for the peg holes on the bottoms of the feet. So I'd like to point that out. So let's just zoom in right onto the figure. Okay, so here's an up-close look at the Prowler figure, and there's some really awesome things about it. I really like the design from the movie, so I'm glad that we get it again in Legends form. But one of the few things that I want to point out that are really nice is we get the pinless tech going on with this figure. So you can see no pins in the elbows, no pins in the knees. So it's nice to see that they really are utilizing that new technology on newer figures. So anytime that they need to do a new sculpt, we're going to get those pinless parts. So I'm glad to see that that really is happening when it comes to new figures. So I'm almost positive the other figures from the Into the Spider-Verse figures will also be pinless tech. I haven't taken that close of a look at it, but here he definitely has the pinless tech. So one thing that is interesting, Prowler in the comics was green and yellow with some purple. That was the 616 Prowler, which is the Hobby Brown. In the Ultimate Universe, Miles Morales' universe, it is Aaron Davis, who is his uncle. So in the movie, you know, that they shouldn't have been a surprise, but you know, the movie of course set it up to be that way, and it was really nice. What I really loved about the movie is anytime the Prowler came into the scene, the way the music, the score would hit, I can't even describe it, but that sound that it made anytime he was showing up was really awesome. I really loved it. It really helped build the suspense and mystery of the Prowler. One of the things on here is the head sculpt looks kind of goofy, because part of that is going to be because of the cape and the shape of the head. So the cape does come off. You'd have to work it around the head, of course, but as you can see there, and it pegs into the back of the figure. Now this torso piece is the fantastic Mr. Fantastic torso piece, because these arms, they can pop right out of the sockets. Not a big deal, because I ended up popping one out, because as you can see on the figure, the way it's designed, those arms are not going to come down to his side whatsoever. And in fact, the arms look quite large in comparison with the torso. The same with the legs, is because they use that smaller torso, which I think hurts the figure a little bit. That's probably my biggest complaint or critique of the figure. But other than that, it does look really good. The paint apps are really well done on mine. Very clean lines on the legs between kind of this ocean blue dark color versus this really deep indigo purple. Very clean lines, so I have no complaints whatsoever. The same goes in the torso and throughout the arms. They are done quite nicely, I must admit, and then that Prowler logo there in the front. But looking at the head sculpt, what I was mentioning, it's just kind of a goofy design. It just looks like there's like little masks. It's just kind of wrapped his head. It's not really form-fitting. It's just kind of weird. But again, that's the design, so it's movie accurate. To me, it just seems a little funky. So we'll pop that head back on there. And as you can see, we have that dark blue color and then the purple on the inside. So that looks really good. These gauntlet pieces look really nice as well. We get that pink color going on in there, and we get some gunmetal gray silver on there, especially on the gloves too. And then we actually get some gold paint right there on the back. Those look really nice. This thing, I think, definitely should have come with, because this is like, these are like holding hands. I think he should have like open hands with the claws really exposed. I think that would have been great. But the ones that we do get do look really good. We have that belt piece there, and then looking at the boots with the hot pink, I think those look really, really nice. So I'm really liking it. Now let's zoom out for his articulation. Okay, so Prowler's articulation. Now it's going to get tricky with the way the cape is. You're not going to get a whole lot of movement in the head, but he can look down somewhat. He can look up. You can't really get a grip. You can't really look up a whole lot because the cape is really going to get in the way. You get the full rotation in there, and there's really not any pivot in the head whatsoever, so that's kind of a bummer. You can get the arm to go straight out. You get a full rotation. You have an upper bicep swivel there. You get a double jointed elbow, which gives you a great bend at the elbow like so. Wrists swivel, and they have vertical hinges on both of them. So left and right vertical hinge. We have an ab crunch, so he can only crunch down forward that much, which is hardly anything. He moves around quite quickly in kind of low stance, so it's unfortunate you can't really get him into those kinds of poses with this torso. He can go back quite a bit, but the cape kind of gets in the way of that, but that's really not natural looking. We have a waist swivel there. Legs go out that far apart, which is crazy. He is straight up doing the full-on splits. He can kick forward that much. You could get it out as well. There is an upper thigh cut there. You get a double jointed knee, and that is a beautiful pinless knee. I really, really like it. There is a boot swivel at the boot, and the pants kind of cuff into the boot, which is cool. And then we have this ankle pivot, so hinge down nice and smooth all the way down. Boot doesn't get in the way of the foot or anything. It's really nice. Hinge goes all the way up. Smooth ankle pivot as well. Peg holes at the bottom of the feet. So great movement going on for the Prowler in his lower body. The upper torso, not so much. And then the arms not going down to his side really kind of bother me. But it's not that bad. But I wish it could be better. Okay, so I don't actually have the Miles or the Gwen figures out of their packages yet, but here was the Target exclusive 2-pack Miles and Spider-Gwen, and of course those are kind of the old bodies that they use. There was nothing new to them at all except for a little bit of the deco. So the Gwen figure is going to be all new. The Miles figure is kind of the suit, but he has the shorts and the jacket, which is nice. So I'm glad that I have both, so I actually have a full suited version of him. I do wish that they would do a new one based on that body that they're going to use, because the web pattern is actually going to be sculpted onto the suit, which is a really nice touch. But I am very happy that I actually have this 2-pack. And I think at one time, you know, they got cheap at Target. They went on clearance, and then people really wanted the 2-pack and they couldn't find it, and it was all dried up. So I'm glad that I ended up getting it, because it just kind of fits nicely together. So later on with more reviews, you'll actually see Prowler next to the new Miles Morales and Spider-Gwen. But for now, there we have it. I do feel like Miles is a little bit on the smaller side, that they should be a little bit bigger in comparison, and hopefully we'll see that with the Miles. But I'm thinking he's probably going to be a little bit smaller, but they do look good together. Okay, and here is a side-by-side comparison. We have the Into the Spider-Verse Prowler and the Marvel Comics Prowler, and I actually almost forgot to do the side-by-side comparison, but there they are together. Again, comic has more, a lot more green, whereas this one is kind of the dark blue and purple colors together. What I am curious is if this head sculpt will fit on that figure, so let's try that out now and see. Okay, so I did the head swaps. I think this head actually does look pretty good on that body. Color-wise, it kind of works because it's that real dark color. This one just doesn't work, and it doesn't sit on that head right. This one actually doesn't pop onto that peg at all either. It just sits on top because the pegs, as you can see, the ball peg, this one's a lot shorter and kind of stubbier right onto that hinge, where this one is kind of elevated from the hinge. So the heads just won't work, unfortunately. Okay, so my final thoughts on the figure. Again, even though it is 2 years too late, very happy that they have it. And I actually wish that we would get more characters from Into the Spider-Verse. So even though the comic version of Spider-Man Noir that we got will work, it'd be nice to have that. We're getting the Peter B. Parker figure. It's nice to have that, but I would like the full-on Spider-Man suit version from that movie. That would be awesome as well. But at least we are getting some figures to represent that movie. I am very pleased with that. But you guys let me know down in the comments below what you think of this figure, what you think of the whole entire wave. Is it about time, or is it just too late for you? Let me know down in the comments below. If you guys like this video, please do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you haven't already done so, and as always, thank you for watching.